The two major rabbinic holidays are Purim and Chanukah. One really striking thing is that while Purim gets its own tractate of Gemara and is dealt with in quite some detail, Chanukah is only given 2 and a bit pages in the Gemara and is only mentioned in the Mishnah in passing. Now, since Chanukah is really quite a big deal and it's a time when we commemorate such tremendous miracles, this seems odd. To try and explain it, I'd like to share with you an insight from Rabbi Yeshivat Ohr Somayach. He points out an apparent contradiction. In Moed Katan, the Gemara says that if you see a Torah scroll burning, you have to rend your garments twice. One tear for the parchment, and one for the writing, the letters. And the Gemara cites a verse to prove its point, lamenting how King Yehoiakim burned the scroll and the words, 2 things. On the other hand, the Gemara in Avodah Zarah tells the tragic story of Hanina ben Tradion, who was burned alive by the Romans wrapped in a Torah scroll for the unforgivable crime of teaching Torah in public. His students called out to him as he was being engulfed by the flames, "Rabbi, ma taroeh? What do you see?" And he replied, "The parchment is burning, but osius poches, the letters are floating in the air. They cannot be destroyed." A beautiful and poignant image. But which is it? Do we tear our garments twice, once for the parchment and once for the letters? Or are the letters indestructible? Rav Soloveitchik explained that it depends on who it is that's destroying the Torah. When it was the Romans, all that happened was the destruction of the physical, the parchment. The message, the words, the soul of the Torah was not touched. But when it was Yehoiakim, a Jew, then it was a double tragedy. The physical scroll was burned, and also the spirit, the letters. And in that sense, it was a greater calamity. Now, the Chanukah War wasn't just a war against the Syrian Greeks, but it was a fight against the influence of Greek culture, and those Jews who themselves wanted to abandon their culture, their heritage, and become Greek, assimilate to that dominant culture. The fact that the Maccabees had to combat those Jews was particularly tragic, and Rav Soloveitchik suggests that perhaps this is why the details of the war, a war between brothers, were kept out of the Torah Shebaal Peh. All we're told is basically, light a candle. Now, one place where Chanukah is mentioned is a Mishnah in Bava Kama. The scene is the narrow streets of a city. Think of the old city of Jerusalem or Mea Sharim. Enter a camel, stage left, loaded with a little too much flax. A candle burns in a store window. The flax on the camel sticks through into the window and catches fire, and the building burns down. Now, the Mishnah says that the camel owner is liable because the candle was inside, but if the candle had been outside, then the store owner would have been liable, since outside is no place for a candle. Unless, says Rabbi Huda, it's Chanukah, when outside is a normal place for a candle, since they lit candles there in those days, as many do today in Israel. Of course, this Mishnah is about torts and liability, but if Chanukah is mentioned here specifically, then something else is being hinted at as well. One spark from a candle can spread like wildfire. Yes, Torah scrolls can be burnt physically and metaphysically, but a candle is not just fire, it's also light. Chanukah candles represent the light of truth, and although we live in a world with so much darkness, it's our job to shine the light into that darkness, and it only takes a single spark.